Josiah Wakefield.
Professor Alberto.
Buff Josiah.
Here we go.
How much do you weigh now?
Like 223.
Really?
Yeah, I'm a big boy.
So you're super heavy going on ultra heavy?
I'm not going ultra heavy.
215, right, is the cutoff?
222 is the cutoff for IBJJF.
Okay.
And I plan on...
So you're what? How much? You 225 is what you said?
223.
223. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I mean, yeah, ultra heavy is okay. It's from middle. You're middleweight, right?
I went from middleweight. That's 175. I used to cut a lot to get there, and then now I'm putting on some weight. That's how much weight is that? That's like what? The lightest I've ever been was 175 for No Gi Worlds. That was the lightest I've ever been at blue belt, and then that's 175. All the way up to 222. I can't do math. That's like at least 40 pounds, 50 pounds. 50 pounds.
Hold on.
That's 50 pounds.
Wow.
Holy cow.
Man. So you got married, you live in let's go back, I guess. You grew up in Burbank, right?
Yeah.
And then you also lived up north too, right, for a little bit?
Yep. Yeah. So
your dad was he's an animator.
Yeah. So I grew up in Burbank. Is this right?
Yeah.
Grew up in Burbank. My dad, I started wrestling up in San Francisco, and there was like a moment where I had to decide two paths, right? Either start drumline or I start wrestling. And then I think what helped me make that decision,
because you're drumming a lot, right?
I was drumming a lot.
Your first email was like drummer Sai.
Yeah, that's right. And the day before signing up for wrestling, I got mugged basically by one of the guys at school. They like checked my pockets.
Up north in Bay Area?
Yeah, at the high school I was at. So the day after that was wrestling signups, and then I was like, do I want to go to wrestling? Do I want to go to drumline? And then boom, wrestling. I just decided. I don't know what got into me. I just did it. And now it's led all the way up to me doing jiu-jitsu. So once I moved back down here for back in high school, like I think I moved back in 10th grade. There was no wrestling. There's no wrestling in Burbank.
In Burbank, right.
So the best that I could do was jiu-jitsu, and it is the best.
But your dad brought you in after like something happened. How old are you now?
22.
22. I was like, you're either 21 or 22.
22.
When's your birthday?
August 12th.
Okay. So your dad brought you in after, he was kind of showing people, but you like beat somebody up, and he was kind of worried that, you're going down the wrong path. Can you tell that story?
So basically,
because you were 16, you just moved back from Bay Area, right?
So, my parents split up, a lot of pent up anger and not knowing, like not really having a direction. I didn't graduate. I hated school. I didn't have a lot of friends. So, what better thing to do than to fight? So like with the friends I did have, we would try to fight, and it was fun. It was like exciting. It was the most exciting thing that I could think of.
You would fight like how, like just like
so, like any little thing,
you guys would fight with each other.
We're roasting. No, well, yeah, I would do that too. I would like do body shots with my friends. We'd put on gloves and just start swinging.
Oh, okay.
And then the first street fight.
That's pretty normal.
That is pretty normal.
Yeah.
But the first street fight I've been into, so I was doing more than just fights. I was doing drugs too, like the pills, like the not in 9th grade, but. Yeah, I came from a bad place. I was just like self-medicating and just experimenting and on top of that fighting. So my parents realized, hey, he likes to fight. Once I moved back down here, like let's put him into something to give him some direction. And that's how I ended up here.
But like there was you punched a kid.
Okay, yeah.
That story. That's the one your dad was.
The one that went viral.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so about that one.
And he was worried. He's like, man, he's like, because your dad's a nice guy, and you guys are you're super nice. Your brother's really nice. You guys are good kids. Go ahead.
So I'm not proud of street fighting. Don't do it. Whoever's listening, don't street fight. But the street fight that I got into, I've just moved back from San Francisco, and I'm skating around, and then this guy on the internet's just like, we knew him, and he's just like a super racist guy. He's calling us all the racist things or whatever, and I'm like, all right, let's put your mouth to the test.
A white kid or what?
No, yeah. Yeah, he was like he wants to be part of the KKK or whatever. Like, he's not actually part of it, but he was just one of those guys. So I called him out. I'm like, all right, let's do it, man. Like, put your money where your mouth is. And so we meet up, and my buddy's filming, and I just hit him with like 1, 2, 3, 4, and it goes viral. You know, everybody at school knows about it. People from other schools know about it.
You like knocked him out, right?
I knocked him out.
Cold.
Yep. Out cold. 1, 2, 3, and then 4. The fourth one split his lip open. It was gruesome, and I'm not proud of it. When he fell, he almost fell on
something bad
on concrete. Yeah, he like on a curb where he could have just hit his head. You know, anything could happen in a street fight.
Right.
You know, you don't want to kill somebody.
Right.
It's not worth it. For a stupid fight.
It's not worth it.
Yeah, it's not worth it. So that went viral. Then my dad's like, all right, and my mom even, she's like, he likes to fight. Let's give it a try.
Right. That's how I remember it happening.
Okay. Yeah.
Because that's your dad was telling everybody that story.
Mm-hmm. He was like,
remember
proud,
he was
but
telling the
also
office. Well, he was worried, but also kind of a little bit
like,
of both.
I'm worried about my son, but check it out. He knocks this guy out. He's like, it's pretty badass, but whatever. But yeah, that's how I got into it. I don't think they thought.
You were like 16, I think, right at the time.
Yeah, I was 16. This guy was 18, and he was just starting crap with people. It's just a racist guy, had to be shut up, But I don't think they would. I don't think they knew it was going to go this far, But putting me into jiu-jitsu, and now it's going to be my career.
Yeah. I mean, when he first came in, it wasn't like that serious, right? I feel like when I go back in time, when I think about you, and it was kind of like, well, you were here, right? You were around, you were training, but you got like focused when, I mean, in high school, right? You were like going to, Tarka's high school. What was the name?
Professor Tarka.
Yeah. Monterey High, which is like
it's like a secondary school.
Right.
You get kicked out of high school, like the regular high schools, to go to this school, and it helps you get, graduate faster because you're so far behind. So I was just super far behind.
Right. You were on like
high school.
You weren't going to school. You were like you're staying up, like, well, just your sleeping pattern was like all messed up, right?
Yeah, I was ditching school, wasn't sleeping,
Just going down the wrong path.
Just going down the wrong path. I could be, just way the wrong path, It's way out there.
And then your dad, me and your dad spent a lot of time, and he started coming in too. When you started coming in, right, and he became kind of friends with me and other people. And he always had such a big heart, right? Your dad, but he's like all over the place too, right? And I remember he lost his job, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then just one thing led to another, and then before he lost his apartment, right?
Mm-hmm. So the timeline's kind of a blur for me, but
it had to be like a year, maybe a year after. You were still underage at that point. You were still 17.
Yeah. So I started when I was 15, and I was like just dabbling in jiu-jitsu and stuff.
Right.
And then we hit a point where I was 17, and my dad lost his apartment. I was living with my dad, and we had nowhere to go.
And you were kind of rocky with your mom.
I was really rocky with my mom. Just emotional up and down. Like crazy. So my dad was like the most stable person I feel like I could be around at the time, and we end up going homeless. And I slept in his car like a couple times. And then you took us in. Then you were friends with my dad, and you got such a big heart. You're like, hey, sleep on the couch or something at least. I think that my timeline's kind of foggy, but I remember that.
Well, he was, you were underage, and I just didn't feel like it was right for you to sleep on the couch,
Mm-hmm.
So I asked Edith, if I could put you up in my guest house,
Mm-hmm.
But you had to basically train every day, right?
So the deal was I would just follow you around.
So if you don't
That was
remember,
the deal.
Yeah, basically you would come in before school. So we tried to get you to school to finish the school, but you were so far behind, and me and Professor Tarka were working together to try to, have you finish, but you were, and all the teachers loved you because you're such a good kid, but you were just so far behind,
Yeah.
That was the case. But I was like, okay, this is what's gonna happen. I did said it's okay, but you have to train basically in the morning. Like we had a 6:30 class, and then you would go to school after, and then you would basically help with every kid's class, and then you would train again at night.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, my schedule would be.
And then once you were just so far behind school that you basically didn't have school anymore, or maybe the summer started or something, but you start basically train like you basically were
All
in the
day.
gym. Yeah. And I would come and bring you in the morning, and I would talk in your ear. And I remember the beginning, you weren't sleeping through the nights. You weren't sleeping, you know?
Yeah, I don't know why.
Just
I
your
still do
whole the schedule and whatever it was, you know? Just instability.
I was getting sick a lot.
And getting sick, instability, right? You like a lot of instability. And so I know jiu-jitsu and I know it's good. And so I was like, okay, you're going to do this. You're going to train every day. And then you started training every single day, you know? And we set some goals for you to compete and to win. And you started doing really, really well, you know? And I was really proud. And you started to get in better shape. You started to get really, really good on the mat in training. And then, of course, also on the mat. Yeah, I'm the one talking. But you're like, you don't remember, right? Because it's such everything's a blur.
Everything happened so fast. It was crazy. Like, my life flipped like that. But, you know, you took me in. You surrounded me around the right people.
Yeah.
And that's the amazing part is that, you know, people could have seen me back then and been like, oh, he's a degenerate. He's a screw up. You know, don't take him. You know, why would you want to take him into your little club? Well, that's the person that you want in your club. You want to help them grow and like change themselves to be better. And that's what you've helped me do. That's amazing.
Now you teach my kids and my wife, you know, we really, you know, you have that heart, you know?
Yeah.
And I've always seen that in you. Like you have there's a kindness, you know, that you and your family have, you know, that I see, you know? And you're tough. You're a tough kid, you know? If we get you fired up, you know?
If you get me fired up. If somebody like hits me in the face real good, then I'm like something clicks.
No, you have a beast mode, you know, you just got to turn on
just got to turn it on.
Yeah.
I got to dig through some
but
layers
you have it in you, you know? Just we got to, you know, keep flipping that switch and get better at turning it on, right? When it's time.
Yeah. Oh, man, when you tell me to turn it on, you know, it's probably just conditioned in me or something from the beginning, but you know, it's like tournaments. As soon as you say anything to me, I'm like, boom, all right, let's go. Just, that's the switch, I think, is when you just tell me to do something. I'm like, all right, you got to do it.
Yeah, there was it was like you were a white belt still, and you went to the pans, you know. And I don't know if you remember this, but you know, I got the shoyu roll gi and I had it patched up and stuff. Yeah. And I gave it to you. I don't know if you remember that.
I do. I remember going to the guy's house.
Oh, right.
And he even...
Did I go with you? You didn't have a car there yet.
Yeah, you took me.
Yeah.
And we went to his house, and I was like, what is this? Like, what? Does it... For me?
Yeah. And so...
I didn't think I deserved it.
Yeah. So we talked to you. Wait, I talked to you about that after, because you had I think you probably thought about it after I talked to you, right? For some time, because I was like quite a few years now.
Yeah, you talked to me about it.
The feeling I got from you is like, I don't deserve this. I'm not worthy, you know? Even though you were in the gym all day long, working your butt off, you know?
Even the shoyu roll rash guards, everything, you know? That was just a mentality I had at the time. And I don't know why. It's like some kind of insecurity.
Why do you think?
Oh, why do I think? I don't know. You tell me. I don't know. Just like
you tell me how you like why you think that is. Think you know best.
You know,
just try to think about it.
Could have to do with my upbringing. You know, like childhood. You know, arguments with my parents or something, and like I can't really pinpoint it, but like let's say I'm fighting with my mom or something, and I want something, and it's like I didn't deserve it, you know, or I think that's where it comes from. Something that has to do with just when I was a kid, you know, and I didn't get what I wanted, and I just didn't get a lot, really.
Yeah, I don't know, like all this stuff. I just know that for that tournament, actually, your mom like sent me this crazy long message, you know, that morning, you know, just like because of school or whatever. But we got the okay from the school, and just you know, and your dad, of course, you know. Yeah. But because that one of that your day to compete was during the school, right? But you're already so far behind or whatever. But I just remember kind of like you seeing that look in your eye, like, oh, I'm not worthy of it, you know?
Yeah, a lot of people can feel like that, you know, even right now. But nowadays, I've grown out of it, you know, just by hanging out with the right people. Yeah. And I don't know where it comes from, but it's there. And the fact that it's there, so I don't know where it comes from, but, you know, you can grow out of it. People grow out of it. I grew out of it. You know, I feel much more confident within myself to ask for what I want, you know. I used to be always afraid to ask for what I want. I was like so insecure, you know. and hanging out with you, like the right people, reading the right books. Like you've recommended the books you've recommended to me, and surrounding yourself with the right people, it just makes you realize, you know, you don't got to be ashamed for who you are. You don't got to be ashamed for who you are and what you want.
Yeah.
You know, get what you want.
Yeah. It's cool, you know, because I've seen you become like a world-class blue belt, like winning. I mean, you don't win 7 matches or even more. How many matches did you do in?
I had 8 matches in Denver.
In Denver, yeah. So 8 matches in Denver, like, you know, getting double golds. IBJF tournaments in the Philippines, right? So you're half Filipino, and so to go home and your grandparents and like see family and like for you to get double gold, no, you don't do that by being a normal blue belt, right?
So even then, I was like struggling with, do I deserve this medal? Like, do I, you know, that's the mentality. Even after you win, it's not enough. But the more you compete, I think the more that you do jiu-jitsu and the more that you compete, I'm starting to realize, like, yeah, I do have what it takes. I do deserve to win, you know?
But when you first got your blue belt, everything's like it takes you sometimes a little bit longer. Once you get it, I feel like you get it, right? But when you first started competing at blue belt, do you remember that time?
I was losing a lot.
Yeah.
That's what I remember.
So at white belt, you were starting to you were dominating.
I was
right?
dominating.
You're winning. You're getting gold. You know, after we put you on we had you seasoned. You know, right? We had you competing on almost every month, right? And then we got you blue, and then you went to blue belt, and then you started losing, right? Because blue belt's a big range.
It's a big range. But I feel like I was there. It's just certain things about me wasn't there. Like, so
did you win? Did you were you losing your first match? Because you kind of go back in time just to kind of.
So back in time, the first match that I ever did as a blue belt, I lost. I lost, and I should have won. You know, always record your matches. That's the best because you can learn from it.
And what about the other ones, the beginning ones?
I think there was like a good of blue belt.
Yeah,
there was a good couple tournaments that I didn't win, like at least 5, maybe. I'd say 5 tournaments I didn't win. I didn't even medal until SJJF Worlds, no-gi. That was the first time I medaled at a tournament as blue belt. And it was no-gi, and it was SJJF Worlds, and I got 2nd place. And then that moment, I was like, oh, I belong here. It's like,
you belong.
I can do it. You know, it just took a bunch of matches just to get there, you know. You might not get it right away, but it's not too late. You know, just keep doing it, stay persistent, just put your head down and just grind, and then eventually it'll come. Yeah. That's pretty much what happened.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. Do you think everybody should do that if they do jiu-jitsu, or should they give up after?
You know, it's hard.
It's hard. You want a part of you like wants to like quit, right? But for you didn't have a choice. Right?
I didn't have a choice.
You were living, I think, at that point because you were 18. You lived upstairs, right, and above the gym at that point, right?
Yep, I was living upstairs. So, yeah, I was living upstairs, and I didn't have a choice. So, if you're ever discouraged about competing, just do it over and over again and you'll get the results. That's the same thing with anything. You just gotta trial and error, and you'll figure it out.
Do you think you would have maybe given up if you hadn't have been in this like position of you didn't have a choice but to do it?
For sure. Yeah. Yeah. If I just was like living, the cool thing was I was living upstairs at the gym. So I was like a mat rat. I was just here all day, every day. And the only choice I had was to compete. I eliminated all distractions. There was no distractions, just jiu-jitsu. And that helped me like, oh, what else do I got? Let's compete. And then you helped push me too. You told me which ones to do. But yeah.
Trying to schedule.
Yeah. Trying to put me on a schedule.
What kind of books, what kind of podcasts and stuff? Because you're always studying now, right? You're always trying to surround yourself with the right information, right? To get your head straight. So what are some things that have helped you? What are the things that you really enjoy?
So podcasts related?
Podcasts and books too.
So the first book that I ever encountered on like self-improvement and stuff was Think and Grow Rich. That was the one that you recommended to me. You gave me that book when I was, I think, even a white belt maybe. And I read that, and it's like the answer of the book is in the title. Think and Grow Rich. You just think it, So that's one.
And rich means like just success, right?
Just
or anything
success.
that you want to put your mind to.
It doesn't have to be, monetary. It can be anything.
Right.
Rich in family, rich in, jiu-jitsu experiences, whatever. Right. So that was the first book. And then I also like to listen to a lot of the MMA podcasts, like The Sugar Show. That one's one that
Is it Rashad?
Pretty cool. No,
Rashad Evans.
Sugar Sean O'Malley or something.
Okay.
Sean O'Malley.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm listening to that one right now.
What do you like about it?
Just they're athletes. They live the lifestyle of an athlete and a MMA, like a combat athlete, and I like that. They talk about a lot of mentality, how they think, and that mentality will carry on to everything you do in your life. So I kind of want to emulate that. I also listen to the Joe Rogan podcast with like all the MMA guys, like TJ Dillashaw. I think Sean O'Malley was on there too. All the MMA guys, those are great. What else?
Why do you like the MMA guys? Why don't you listen to? Because I would think you would say Jiu-Jitsu guys.
There's just more. There's more MMA guys on that show than there is Jiu-Jitsu. Danaher's on there too.
Okay.
On the Jiu-Jitsu one or on the Joe Rogan.
You're right. But I'm just I would think you would like listen to like Jiu-Jitsu guys. You're listening to like MMA. I mean, it's a combat athlete.
Yeah.
Like mental.
Similar mentality.
Yeah.
I mainly listen. I look for the mentality stuff because that's where I struggle with. That's what I struggle with most.
Yeah.
So
good.
Whether they're MMA or even baseball, like I listen to Ronnie Coleman. The bodybuilder.
Yeah, of course.
I listened to that one. That was sick because the
mentality.
I'm searching for how he thinks. That's it.
Yeah, I like that. It's perfect for you. That's what you. That's it, right? You're finding you need that, and you need to be surrounded with the things that you maybe struggle with, like the mentality, right? Turning on the switch and staying focused, right?
That's my biggest. That was my biggest weakness, but I feel it day by day. It gets better and better, and I just feel more myself, with a strong mentality. So that one, and I also listen to the Matt Byrne podcast with Keenan. I listen to the Alberto Crane podcast, of course, but there's the one with Keenan and like Josh Hinger, and they talk about mentality as well, and tournament mentality, like how to think when you go into a tournament, and I get a lot from all those podcasts and books. Well, that one book. What other books do I got? Mind Gym. So when I was living in your garage, when we had that deal, when we were homeless, you
my
brought
garage,
me
my guest house, right?
Your guest house. Yeah, your guest house. Sorry, not your garage.
We changed it up. We renovated it, okay?
It's super fancy. Yeah, it's super fancy. It's not just a regular garage.
Kitchenette and
yeah, it's got a kitchen and bathroom. It's really nice. It's awesome. But I looked through your shelf on I saw Mind Gym, and I'm like, what's that? So I picked that out, and then started reading it.
Nice.
And that's another one. That one's great. Mind Gym's great because it's not exactly combat, but it's just sport mentality overall. Talks about visualization and positive affirmations and stuff. That stuff can work. Stuff works. You just got to believe, and you just got to be persistent and do it. And so yeah, Mind Gym's one of them. How to Win Friends and Influence People.
Dale Carnegie.
I haven't finished that one, but that one's a good one.
Have you guys used that little golden book, right?
What's that
golden book?
Is that in Dale Carnegie's book?
Yeah, the Dale Carnegie. Just kind of like a quick summary. You probably
I
don't
gotta
remember.
check that out.
Well, I kind of give it to. I don't know if I trained with you, but the old school guys. I used to always have people kind of go over it.
Okay, that's
they
good.
Remember people's names. It's the sweetest sound in any language. Like smile, be a good listener. All the people skills, and it makes the person feel important.
Okay. I need that for sure. I need to finish that. So it's a gold. Oh yeah. I know.
It's called Golden Book. There's a PDF. You can download it. If you put How to Win Friends and Influence People, Golden Book, it'll come up. There's a PDF, and I like to use that. I think it's like the first page. It's like I think it's 10, or maybe 9 things to do. You can practice that every day.
Yeah, that's
to
good.
Be a better communicator.
I'll
to
look
be
it
better.
Well, so what books do you recommend?
Of course, Think and Grow Rich, which I told you about. I mean, man, like if you have that, it takes time. It's not something, you just read it and I got it,
No.
It's something that you just keep rereading different parts of your life. Even now, like in my 40s, like I go back and I understand it better now, I understand different parts better. And I really feel like I'm there, and I never got it when I was young. I wasn't ready for it, So man, if you have Think and Grow Rich, I think that's like that's it. That's all you need really. If you really understand and really ingrain like the principles, because it's all right there really. But I like the Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Oh, Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Yeah, I like those kinds of things too because I think it's important, because if you're doing well, if you understand like financial things, like you're always gonna make better decisions, right, for yourself, and just be a better person. I like E-Myth. It's like entrepreneurial myth, like systemizing things, like business. I guess those are my like top three, But I think Think and Grow Rich, it's all there, if you really dive into it and really like live it, And so that was my blueprint, right, that I used for jiu-jitsu. That's why I moved to Brazil when I was a teenager.
Really? So you read it before you went to Brazil?
Yeah. That's why I moved because mastermind principle, like surrounding yourself with the right people, and so that's why I went there. I knew what I wanted, and so that's the road I took, and so there wasn't any question. I knew what I wanted, and that was the road.
And look at where you are now.
I mean, I followed. But that helped me, right?
Yeah.
And so that was my blueprint, and so. And I went through some hard times. I lost, right, for many years, like not winning a match, but not winning a tournament. I was either losing like my first or second match, and there weren't that many tournaments back then, right? So it was like really hard to go to tournaments. And I lived in New Mexico, and then I lived in Brazil too. So it was like very challenging, I would like sleep in airports, and I didn't have a lot of money, and I struggled, But
they even talk about that in the book.
Exactly. And so, it talks about in the book, and I really read it and really like stayed true to it and just stayed at it, and, and, so it really got ingrained in me as a young man. And people ask me like, oh, what are you most proud of? And it's like really sticking to it, when it was tough, and it's really, I think, giving me the platform, to be successful no matter what I do now.
For sure. Yeah. I recommend
it's the losses, the losses and overcoming those, right? Because most people quit when it's hard, That's why I was asking you, like, do you think if you didn't have a choice, if you would have, I don't know, been wherever you were at before with your dad, staying at your dad's house, rather than staying upstairs in the gym because you didn't have a choice, right? I was like, I expected you, like to be, basically that was your life, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the results followed, right? The results followed, and you're still on the path. We're in this lockdown right now, so we're on a little bit of a pause, right? But you're on the path, and you're training hard, and you're doing it, and getting buff, and getting strong, and living the life.
Now we just got to get lean.
What do you want to get down to? Super heavy?
I want to do heavyweight. I'm already super heavy. I just got like a pound to cut, and I'll be on weight.
I think for me, I started doing the intermittent fasting, and I do it Monday through Friday, and so not Monday through Friday. I do Friday, Saturday. Sunday through Thursday, I guess, right? And so for me, it works best to not have dinner. So it works for me to not have dinner. But for some people like Alexandre, he does it now too. He doesn't like to have breakfast, so he works better like training, and then he doesn't eat till whatever the afternoon, And for me, I like to have breakfast, and I work better not having dinner. And so, because I was training really hard for the TACFIT team leader thing, and I was just getting so much inflammation, I was like, I had to like do everything I could do, just from training and stuff, Yeah. And so, the fasting really like reduced inflammation. Not just that, but it gave me like more energy and allowed me to train more and to do more. And I was like, well, this is good. And so I was so focused on that team leader thing that's what allowed me to do it, because it's tough, right, at the beginning, because you're kind of used to, eating and not taking a break. So I try to eat within I try to fast, I guess, 12 to 15 hours a day.
12 to 15, that's the mark.
Yeah. So I try to eat, like if I have whatever, I just time it, right? So I don't eat for about 12 to 15 hours. Usually, like I eat 5, 6, 7 o'clock at night, So if I have breakfast at like 7:30, I probably won't eat anything after 7:30 in the night, So if I have breakfast in the morning at 7:30, I won't eat anything till 7:30 at night.
Dang.
And so that's been a game changer. So if I were to say one thing, it would be that. But it's like, again, like one day at a time, right? But you're like staying focused on it, So it's like that. How bad do you want it, And that'll be, I think that'll be a game changer, because your metabolism is pretty fast and stuff. And then yeah, I would just say the fasting is so good for you, you know? Yeah. I think it'll lean you out fast.
Good. Okay. I'll try that because I think I'm a no breakfast kind of guy. I've done it a couple times and I've trained like with nothing in my stomach and I feel great. Like my energy levels are high. I'm light. Yeah. You know, I'm focused.
Just drink water and then just like not even caffeine, you know?
No, not even caffeine.
I mean, I wouldn't even drink caffeine if I were you. But you can a little bit, but if you need it, you know. But I would just try to just do water. But whatever, transition to it. Mm-hmm. Transition little by little.
Yeah, I got to figure out which one's good for me, like the morning fast or the night fast, and got to figure that out.
Yeah, try out both. You know,
try out both. Yeah, and that'll help because I got a lot of poundage to lose if I want to make heavyweight.
I mean, the good thing with you with the super heavyweight, I like is you're fast, you know. Mm-hmm. So you're fast, like you're the strongest. There? Super heavy.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're going against the top super heavy, like I don't know, it's tough, you know, because you're not like I think a super heavy, but I think
I've fought super heavies.
Okay.
And you know, some of them are shorter than me.
Right.
But that's the problem because the short guys, like they're like little spider monkeys. They can just go around you and stuff, but. Because I'm kind of longer than them sometimes.
Yeah.
But I feel like I could hang just a little bit fine tuning and I can hang, you know, with the
What do you think your best weight is?
My best weight?
Yeah.
It's hard to say because I've done everything from middleweight to super heavyweight.
Right.
And you know, I watch old tournament footage where I'm at like medium heavyweight and I'm so fast. But do I feel strong? No, I don't feel strong. You know, I'm fast, but I don't feel strong.
I think you'd be good at heavyweight. You know, you can keep lifting, but just watch your what you're eating. You know,
yeah,
because you tend you can pack the weight on.
I can. This quarantine, I was like, let's see how fat I can get this quarantine for 2 months.
Oh my god, yeah, because you weren't training in Colorado when you left. You know,
no hamburger helper, 3 meals a day.
Oh my god,
no, I'm just kidding. Pepsi and Oreos. Every day.
Oreos? You like the sweets?
Oreos are good. No, I'm like a savory kind of guy, but the Oreos will do it for me. That's all I need for sweets. But yeah, I did that for like 2 months. So yeah, don't do that. Watch my weight. I'll watch what I eat. That's pretty much the main thing I've heard is like you just gotta like 90% of it is diet.
The thing too with the fasting is you can not eat whatever, but try to eat good. The thing is you eat less. And so when you do eat, like you're like kind of grateful, and you end up eating like just stuff that's bad, like good quality, you know.
Wow, that's a good point.
You know what I mean? Because you have a shorter window to eat.
So like, let's eat something quality. Like that's the mindset.
Yeah, that's kind of how what's kind of happened to me.
Dang, that's cool.
So I think like for you, it might be the same, you know. Mm-hmm. But you just got to do it, you know.
Yeah,
you just got to make up your mind and do it.
Yeah, some of the most in shape people that I've seen.
Start with 21 days. Yeah.
Like some of the most in shape people that I've seen, like. They intermittent fast and they eat great and they're like super grateful for what they eat, you know, which is
because you're eating less, right? So you're like everything you do eat, you're like, oh, yeah. So you end up putting better quality things in you. And then I think too, even if you eat something bad or whatever, like if you have that fasting window, it's just so good, right? There's so many benefits, right? Like scientifically proven, right? Whatever, for your immune system, for just everything, right? Your metabolism, you know, and then you just drink water in those times.
Mm-hmm. I'll try it out.
Yeah.
That'll help me get cut. So I'll try. Let's see it. Let's see heavyweight. I think I got a lot of fat to lose, and that'll put me at heavyweight. And let's see how it goes.
Yeah. Stay buff, but lean.
Stay buff, but lean. Because super heavy, they're big. They're big.
Yeah.
But I can hang.
So you've been teaching now for you're 20. What did you say? 22.
22.
22. So you've been teaching now for, like 5 years. Mm-hmm. I think, you know, full time, 5 years. You were underage, right? You were 17.
Yep.
And then I had you, you know.
17, I was helping out.
Right. Like every day.
Yep,
you know?
every day.
So 5 years. What has teaching done for you, and what do you enjoy about it?
What has teaching done for me? It's provided me, you know, a meaningful source of income. You know, it's full of meaning. You know, like it's not. I feel fulfilled after every day I teach, and I'm making a difference, you know, and on top of that, it pays me. And I'm like, wow, that's great. You know, it's like what I love. It doesn't feel like work. And that's huge for me because I've always told myself as a kid, I don't want to I don't want to sit at a desk on a computer, you know, nothing wrong with it, but it's just not me. So when I get to be out there and teaching and, you know, guiding people, and I think that's where my heart is, and that's helped me a lot, like have meaning in my life, you know?
Yeah.
It's
meaning.
And then with that meaning, you know, that kind of governs your decisions, you know? Like you want to be a good example, so you make the right decisions, and it just kind of trickles down into my life. So yeah, it's helped with my jiu-jitsu. It's inspired me to be like, oh, I got to get even better at jiu-jitsu. I got to learn more so I can be a better teacher, you know? If I'm not my best, how am I going to teach these kids to be their best, or even adults? So yeah, that's what it's done for me.
So jiu-jitsu has made you it's made your jiu-jitsu better as well?
Oh, definitely. You know, mentality-wise, right? Like it's changed the way I thought about my own jiu-jitsu. Like I got to make it the best that it can be, not only just for me, but for the people that I'm going to teach it to later on. You know, I don't want to teach anything that won't work or something like that, you know? So that's why I compete too. I compete for the students so I can better my jiu-jitsu. You know, it just trickles down. It goes into everything. It's really cool.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
And you got married,
and that's
you're like, man, I'm like, dude, and then you got married. I'm like, just wait, man, just wait. You know, you were like 21 when you got married.
Me. Yeah, I was 21. I proposed when I was like 20 or something, and then got married at 21.
You know, I was kind of like, I guess, protective in a way when you and Erica started like, you know, dating and stuff. But for sure, like Erica's like amazing for you, you know. So I don't know. You want to talk about it? Because you guys are a jiu-jitsu couple.
We're a jiu-jitsu couple, power couple.
Yeah.
It was one of those things where, you know how I talked about drumline and wrestling? It was the same thing. I don't know what got into me. I just went one way, and now here I am. I expect it to. I don't know what to expect, but I feel like it's gonna be great, you know. And now this is where I am.
Would you guys? Do you remember her, or how did it happen?
How did what happen?
How did you guys like? How did the relationship start?
Yeah.
You saw her on the mat. She saw it. Would you remember?
So I was like oblivious, right? I'm thinking all jiu-jitsu. A specific story I remember. So the first time she ever talked to me, she was like talking about my haircut or something.
Okay.
She's like, when are you going to get her a haircut? And I'm like, oh, I'll get it tomorrow or something. And I just keep prolonging it.
Because you had the Bruce Lee cut, right? I had the
Bruce Lee cut. Everybody's calling me Bruce Lee.
Filipino Bruce Lee.
Yep. And it was wild. And then one day she just she tripped me. Like she was just trying to get my attention. You know how little kids, they'll bully each other for attention. She was doing that to me, and I was so oblivious. Like I didn't even know she wanted my attention. I was just, what's this girl's problem? And then one day I was sitting on the bench. You
didn't think that she liked you?
No, not at all. It just went right over my head.
It's because you're always like nice and like you're so kind, you know. So you're not thinking in those ways.
No, yeah. I remember we were standing in line, and she was like, so do you go to school? Do you live with your parents? She was asking me like all these questions, you know, just me being nice. I'm just answering them, have no thoughts about it. And
what did your answer when she said,
she asked, she said, do you live with your parents? And I'm like, no, I live on my own. And then she's like, well, do you live, and this was when I was living upstairs. And then she's like, well, do you go to school? And I'm like, and I looked forward and I was like, jiu-jitsu's my school. And I just shut up after that. And she was like, whoa. She was like, okay. Because I was like, that's how focused I was. Like, jiu-jitsu's my school. This is it. This is all I got. And she was like, oh, so this guy's serious. He lives on his own. How old is he? Like, he's got to be at least 23 that's what she's thinking. At least, or like 20, at least 20 or something.
Were you 18
and
at
I was
least?
18 at the time.
Okay, so it was legal then.
It was legal.
Oh my God.
I was 18, but she had no idea. She thought I was like 20 something or whatever.
Yeah, you look older, and your demeanor too, for sure.
Yeah. I was living on my own. I'm, whatever. I'm out of school. So most kids nowadays, they live with their parents still. You know, I know a lot of people that do that still. Okay, so then I was after training one day. I sat on the bench.
Did you tell her you lived upstairs of the gym?
Not yet. This is, I'll get to that. So I was sitting on the bench, and she's like, do you want to go to the beach on Saturday? And I'm like, no, I gotta train that day. I can't go. And I didn't know she was asking me out on a date. That's how oblivious I was.
Okay, so say that again. I missed that. She asked you what?
Did I say that? So she said, do you want to go to the beach on Saturday?
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah. Do you want to go to the beach with me on Saturday? And I'm like, no, I got to train. Thanks, though. And no one's ever asked me that. I was so oblivious. Like, she was asking me out on a date. So I after that, I walk upstairs, up here, up to the upstairs of the gym. And I'm like, I'm sitting there and I think about the interaction I just had with her. I'm like, oh, she was asking me out on a date. So I run back downstairs and she's gone. So then I was like,
missed out, man.
I missed my chance. And then the next day I see it worked out. The next day I see her and I'm like, hey, let's go to the beach on Saturday. You're probably rolling your eyes because you're like, oh, he's skipping training for a girl.
Is that's what happened? You skipped that?
I skipped Saturday training to go to the beach to hang out with Erica and have some acai. And
should have had to do it Sunday.
I know. Should have
told her Sunday, man. Slipping.
Yeah, it was slipping. So
I'm just kidding, man. She's been amazing for your focus and
for sure
and training and stuff, and definitely like a huge and big influence.
Yeah,
keeping you online.
Belt. We're coming up together. We're coming up the ranks together. It's really cool. She's like helping with my.
So finish the story. So you guys went to the beach, and then what happened?
Okay, so we went to the beach, and we're just chilling at the beach. That's pretty much what happened.
Did you make the move on her? Or did she make the move on you?
She made the move. She was the mover. I was not the smooth guy. I was not a smooth guy.
Okay.
Not one bit. So our second date, I tried to take her out like hiking or something, and it's like a romantic view. It's really nice. And then I'm like, let's. I want to be smooth. Let's try. So we're on these stairs at this hike, and I walk down the stairs, and she's at the bottom. And I walk down the stairs, and I try to like come up behind her, just be all smooth and hug and look at the distance. Yeah. So I come up for a hug, and I trip her, and she falls like down the stairs, and she's like, "What the fuck?" I'm like, oh my god, I give up on this relationship stuff. But that was our second date, and now like a year later, I think 3 years later, we were dating for like 3 years. So like 3 years later, I decide, I think this is the one. I don't like this is the only. I don't want to be that person that looks back and see that I missed out on that person that I wish I was with now. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like some people say they let one got away. Like she was the one that got away.
Were you worried that she was gonna get away?
Well, I just knew she was freaking perfect for me at the time. She's like, she's got the same goals. She wanted to open a gym too. She wants to be a world champion. She's really good with money. She's got her head straight. She's not crazy, And then this is from like a couple of years of hanging out with her. I'm like, if I don't, put a ring on it, somebody else is, and she's too much of a catch for me to let go. So 3 years later, I propose.
You set up the camera and everything, huh? You took her on. You guys went on not a hike, but a little trip, right? To Big Sur or something. And who set up the camera? You set up the camera with the timer and everything?
You heard this story.
No, you told me. You showed me.
Yeah, so
because it's like a perfectly timed picture because it was just you and her, right?
Yeah. So I've heard some crazy proposal stories. Mine isn't that crazy, but I think it was pretty sweet because they got the moment. So yeah, we love traveling. We like going to Big Sur and stuff. We like taking our van and caravanning around the country. And we went to Big Sur, and I took her off to this like cliff where there's the waves and the sunset's coming down. I'm like, go over there, pose right there for me. And she's like, okay. So she turns around, it's like, turn around, look out in the distance, and just pose. And then I set the timer for like 10 seconds, and I run over there, over the bushes. I get down on one knee, and I open it, and I'm shaking. I'm like shaking. I'm like, will you marry me? And then she like turns around, and she starts laughing. And I'm like, will you marry? You didn't say yes or no. Like, will you marry me? And she's just dying laughing. She's like covering her mouth. She's like, oh my God. And I'm like, yes or no? And she's like, yes, of course. So it was that was harder than a tournament doing that right there. I was like the most nervous I've ever been in my life right there.
It's ballsy.
If I didn't compete, I wouldn't have been able to do it. Though I'll tell you that competing has helped me with like my courage for a lot of things,
Nice, man.
Yeah.
So she said yes, and then you guys got married. What was it, last year? Yeah. Last year.
Yeah. August 3rd, 2019.
Nice, man.
Yep. That was a party. That was a blast.
Nice. We had fun, huh? We
that
had
was
a bunch
hella
of
fun.
people from Legacy go out there. And it's good, man. It's awesome.
Oh, yeah.
It's good. good.
It was really good. Out in Colorado in her backyard. They turned that whole backyard into like a wedding venue because it's massive. It's like, I don't know how many acres. How many acres would you say that would be?
I have no idea on the.
Yeah, I have no idea, but it's big.
It's nice property.
Yep.
Yeah, it was fun. It's perfect.
So instead of buying, like, renting out a place like in Malibu or renting out a place that stuff costs so much money. I don't know. I could say $30,000 for a place in Malibu, let's say, just to rent it out. Instead, they're like, oh, well, let's put all the money into our backyard and make the backyard look phenomenal, and let's do it there. So it's like an investment.
Erica's family, right? They're smart.
They're smart.
Successful, smart people, hard workers.
I love talking business with them. Like, I love talking, success with them because he's read similar books that, that we were just talking about, like Think and Grow Rich, How to Win Friends and Influence People. So he's up there, and he owns his own business, Black Forest Automotive in Colorado. Shout out to Black Forest Automotive. Nice. Little shout out.
You were working there during the quarantine, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I was
doing
working
like
there.
mechanic stuff and.
Because I was
Oreos
worried
on the brakes. We didn't know what was gonna happen.
I was worried. I was like, man, I can't do jiu-jitsu. Like, am I ever gonna do jiu-jitsu again?
Right.
Things were like, the things I was hearing was just so crazy. So I just
watched the news, right?
Mm-hmm. So there's no way I could do jiu-jitsu unless it was with just Erica. So with my free time, I was like, well, let's learn about cars. I'm not just gonna sit around and waste my time. Which yeah, if you feel behind, like, I actually feel ahead. Because of the quarantine, on certain things, just because I'm like, I use it as an opportunity. The 2 months off that I had, I'd use it as an opportunity to, like, learn something new, like start a side hustle or something. You ever hear about that? People starting side hustles. It's just like,
for sure.
If you didn't get anything out of quarantine, that's your fault.
So you learned how to, like, work on cars and stuff.
So yeah, they taught me how to change oil. Work on brakes. So
you can get.
I ain't good at it at all.
After you can go to Jiffy Lube and get a.
Not even close. Yeah, I'll do that. If worst comes to worst, I'll go to Jiffy Lube. I was, like, seriously considering, like, working for Eric. Like if things don't go back to normal, I'll work here. Let's do it. So yeah, I'm like a white belt at that stuff right now. But I know if I put my mind to it.
Yeah.
If I put my mind to it, give me a couple months, I'll be really good. Probably not a couple months. That's probably unrealistic. Maybe like a year.
You did like mechan. Like, what did you do? Like, what else did you learn?
That was all I could get. That was all I could get. Like, changing the oil, changing the brakes.
Cool.
What else? Changing the wheels.
Got to hang out full inspections. Erica's family.
I got to see how the business run. That's like it's like an organism, the way businesses work. Because it's like a bunch of different moving components that all work together. And it's like a system, just like the gym here. It's like we got a system going. So I got to learn how that system works, and that was really cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice, man. Well, thank you, man. Thank you for being, like, having such a big heart and all the years now, man, of giving back, right, to our kids and to our adults too, right, and being like the guy you are, like, big-hearted and like your dad, and I mean your family,
Yeah.
So I always appreciate you. I love you, and I always want the best for you. And I'm looking forward to getting gold, getting on the podium at the Worlds, whenever they have that again.
Let's go.
Oh,
I'm pumped. Let's go.
And I'm looking forward to seeing you compete again, I saw they have a LA Open, right, in August.
Yeah, it's coming up. NABJJF.
Yeah. So
I'm doing that one.
Looking forward to your continued growth. And you and Erica doing well, and just doing great and everything. What's your Instagram?
Josiah Wakefield. That's it. JOSIAHWAKEFIELD. Yeah, thank you. Without you, none of this would have been possible. You were the game changer. You brought me in, and changed my life like you've done for many others. That whole gym. Yeah.
Thank you, brother.
So thank you. Thanks for bringing me into the family.
Thank you.